There's Owl House. It's time for the Owl Show, the Owls Who Live Sports. My name's Chuck Burge, Hootie Hoo, and I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Robert Kinney.
How you doing today, Chuck?
Welcome back from vacation, Robert.
Glad to be back. Hey,
when you were out west, did you see the owls?
I did actually. I went to the grizzly and wolf thing in West Yellowstone, and yeah, they had some owls there. It was pretty cool. I got some really good pictures.
Were you having playing football?
They were not.
Okay, all right. Well, cool. Well, we're here to support KSU sports, not just football, but all the KSU sports. As you will hear us mention from time to time, we want to help raise NIL money for the great athletes to keep them at KSU and not send them to other schools. It's easy enough to give $500 to Georgia and Alabama and mean nothing, but if you give $500 to the KSU program, you become part of the family and you're something else on campus, and people make a big deal out of it. So we want to reach out to businesses and people in the community to support Owl football. We've got the second largest school in the state of Georgia at 43,000 students, and we need to be filling that stadium up every week, and that will come in time, but we need to do it sooner than later. So
as I like to point out, Chuck, second largest school in the state, but the largest freshman class the last 2 years in a row. Sooner or later, if you keep having the largest freshman class, you will be the largest.
And we had somebody talk last week, I think it was Tom Chenal was our guest, and he talked about you taking kids, and eventually they'll be indoctrinated to pulling for KSU, just like you were growing up and indoctrinated to pulling for Tech or for Georgia, and that will come, but we want to help expedite that expedite that process. So let's talk a little bit about what happened over the past week in KSU sports. Obviously, the big thing is we lost to the Gamecocks over in Jacksonville State, 35-28 in overtime. Brutal ending to a game. We won the toss, I think, in overtime, and then we let them score a touchdown, and we had the opportunity on the first play from scrimmage. We were sacked for a 6-yard loss and fumbled, and KD barred the door, as it was.
It was, and I know everybody was feeling really good when it was 21-10, and secondary hasn't kind of hurt us a couple times this year, but I think Coach Bo's on his path. I think we just stay the course. We know what the results are. When you think about how good Jack State has been over the last however many years, and how nobody wants to play them here, there, or anywhere else, it's our first loss versus them.
Yep.
That's pretty incredible in itself.
And to give them a little credit, they do have a very speedy backfield, but we played them very, very well. And I thought we had them. But the other great things happened in sports this week at KSU, so we'll talk a little bit about that. I know the women's cross-country team was at the Lou Classic in Louisville, Kentucky. I don't know why they call it the Lou Classic and not the Louisville Classic, but it's Lou Classic. And the girls came in 9th out of 41 teams, which I thought was pretty strong.
And do you have the girl's name who actually came in the highest?
I do not. She came in like 8th or 9th.
I was going to say she came in like 17th, but what I thought was interesting is that if you look at her track record, she's already graduated from an Ivy League school. So what happens when you graduate from an Ivy League school? You come to Kennesaw and you run some more. So that's how this
Well, I noticed you said that track record in reference to cross-country or track, so that was very clever.
Very good point.
No pun intended. And the other thing, the men's team came in 8th out of 44 teams. So they ran real well up in Louisville as well. So hootie hoo to the cross-country team Owls.
Absolutely. And the girls' soccer team got a 1-0 victory in Jacksonville. So team's been playing really good. Anytime you allow 0 in
or
soccer, or nil if you're from Austria, it's pretty good. Good chance you're going to win. Only goal for the game was by Haley Decker out of Harris County High School. So,
Harris County?
Harris County, down there by Columbus.
Yep.
So shout out to her. And then also the Kennesaw State women's volleyball team. We spiked Queens.
Queens College?
Queens College from Charlotte.
From Charlotte. It was Queen City. That's why they call it Queens College, right?
Correct. And but it's a sweep. I believe I read that it was our 6th or 7th sweep of the year. So,
Wow.
We're just laying it down. They're 10-4 and 3-1 in the A-Sun, and Coach Schunzel's got them looking good. I think good things to come for many out.
Yeah, Danny, I can't think of her last name, quite the spiker. She's a good athlete.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was a girl. The girl on our team had her first ever double-double.
Wow.
10 spikes, 10 digs.
10 spikes and 10 digs. That's a pretty good day on a volleyball court. And we won 3-0, right? We swept them?
3-0.
Yeah.
3-0.
So, great thing, and I think they have a match coming up sometime this week that we'll talk about towards the end of the show. Do you want to go ahead and do a commercial before we introduce our guests?
I think we should.
Let's do Modern Image, shall we?
Modern Image.
Should I say it now or should I wait till the end?
No, if you want to, you paid for it. You can say
No,
it
I'm
twice.
not saying it.
Modern Image is a locally owned document and photograph scanning company that helps clients secure and use paper files and photos. Whether it's important business files or sentimental family photos and videos, Modern Image is dedicated to helping clients solve problems around paper.
Go Owls. Go Dogs.
We're allowed to say go Owls in this.
Yeah, we would say go. I gotta say go Dogs for David. So very excited to have a former football player with us today, Sola. Come on in and sit in with us, buddy. I don't know why they have this microphone all the way over here. It needs to be here. So.
How you guys doing today?
We're doing good. How are you, Sol?
Good.
Awesome. So welcome to the hoot seat. You're sitting in the hoot seat. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
The hoot seat? You
Yeah.
like that? So, Robert, what are we going to be asking Sola?
Oh, we're going to ask him all sorts of crazy questions, but that's just who I am. So, starting out, I read that you have 7 brothers and sisters, I believe.
Five brothers, 2 sisters. Yep.
Are any of them younger sisters?
Well, young brother, no younger sisters.
Okay, well, it's okay. I'm sure you stick up for your older sisters. So
Yeah.
My first question for you is, you're at your folks' house,
Mm-hmm.
and the doorbell rings, and it's one of your sister's dates that show up at the door.
Yeah.
When you get to the door, what shirt is going to make you close the door faster than any other? Is it a South Gwinnett, a Brookwood, or a Parkview that just gets the door shut in somebody's face?
Definitely a Brookwood. We don't like Brookwood.
No, I know you don't.
Definitely don't like
You
Brookwood.
don't like any of those schools.
Not at all. Not at
especially
all.
Brookwood.
No, especially Brookwood.
Yeah.
Remember Brookwood, where you at?
There you go.
So what's your hatred for Brookwood?
So, I was in the 8th grade, right?
I like it when it starts early.
It was the year we actually won state.
Grayson went undefeated.
Yeah, Grayson went
Once
undefeated that year, and we ended up winning state that year. There was this song that came out. It's called "Brookwood, Where You At," and it was like this big rivalry that actually went nationwide. That led up. It was like a big hype 2 weeks before the game. They made a song too, like Grayson stepped your game up. Just brought up this big hype, and literally whoever won that game was going to win state.
Right.
So from that point on, like it was just really a good experience of just like, all right, every time we play Brookwood, we have to play up to the talent.
So
Wasn't that the year you played McEachern, too?
Never played McEachern, but we did play McEachern that year. I want to say that was in the Cookie Kill.
Yeah, but you said
Start
that
the year.
the winner of the other game would win state. What if McEachern would have won? They could have won the state.
You kind of knew. That team was pretty stacked.
Okay.
So, what's it like to dislike a team so much when you're people talk all the time, don't give the other team anything for the chalkboard or
Bulletin board.
The bulletin board.
Yeah.
You guys are making songs about the other team.
So-
were your coaches beside themselves for this?
So I was in the 8th grade, so like that was before my time. When I got into high school, we used to beat up Brookwood when I was in high school playing varsity. That like it wasn't really more of a rivalry. We had Archer. Archer had they had all the 4-star, 5-stars on that team.
Right.
So like when we played them, like people would make T-shirts like on Twitter. Oh, we're ready for this game. Like everyone, like I'm talking about probably the best experience I've had in high school football when we played Archer High School.
Nice. And did you like it better at home or at Archer?
Ooh, okay. Fun story. It was my
love fun
junior year. We ended up playing Archer. Final score was like 14-10. But we were driving in. I want to say it was about 2 minutes left in the game. They were driving. They had the ball. We had to just make a stop and just win the game. They were in trips, right? And all week we were covering this one route because they would always run like the switch route with like number 2 and number 3, and safeties safety in the corner. I was backside and we're locked up on the number 1 receiver. He ended up breaking free, took it all the way down to the 3. I came backside, caught him, and tackled him on the 3. We took them, and I want to say it was like a minute left in the game. Our defense, we had this guy named Muhammad Berry. He ended up going to Nebraska, right? He ended up making 4 plays down the side. We had Daniel Fennell went to South Carolina. Denzel Wright went to the Citadel. Our front 7 literally made plays those last 4 downs for us to win the game with like 23 seconds left in the game.
And, if you don't follow a lot of high school sports, when you're in a region game like this is the difference in being a 1 or a 2 seed in your region. If you're a 1 seed, that means everybody's got to come to you, or at least until it gets to the quarters when it starts being a coin toss. You lose that game, all of a sudden you've got to go to Lowndes next week or something. That's a big game to do.
Another thing, so all right, we ended up beating Archer, right? And then we lost to Decula. We were undefeated until we went to go play Decula. I want to say we were 8-0. Right, and they were 8-0 also. Archer beat them. We beat Decula. Decula beat Archer.
3-way tie.
3-way tie. And we ended up doing a coin flip. I want to say we got the 3rd seed, and Archer had the 1st seed. They ended up going all the way to state. So the team we beat ended up going to state. They lost to Colquitt that year, but yeah.
My dad loves Cartersville football, and I used to tell him how lucky he was because, they always won the coin toss. While Trevor Lawrence was there, every time there was a coin toss somewhere, somebody's driving to.
Yeah.
And it's a big difference if you're on
it's
a bus
a big
for 5
difference.
hours.
Exactly. We ended up losing so we played Mill Creek at Mill Creek, beat Mill Creek, went to Tucker, and Tucker was stacked that year. That was the year after they had went to state and lost to, I want to say, an Atlanta school. Not McEachern.
Trying to work McEachern into the conversation.
I'll wait to McEachern.
I want to say Creekside. Yeah, I think Creekside went to state that year. They ended up losing to Creekside, and we ended up playing. That was a stacked team too. Ended up losing in the 4th quarter.
And obviously that's horrible. But even in that scenario, you're still just kind of traveling around Gwinnett County and playing people.
Literally.
I can remember one time when it was the coin toss, and it was Bainbridge and Cartersville.
Whoa.
Bainbridge is as far south and west as you could possibly get in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
And my dad's like, well, it really doesn't matter. No, it really did matter. Gotta love those.
Yeah. Always want to play close. That's the best. That's better, because if you lose on the road, that's a long drive home.
That's a long bus ride home.
Exactly.
How old were you when you first heard about KSU?
I was a senior in high school. That was 2015. So, actually, correct me, I was a junior. One of my friend's brother came here as a walk-on, and I didn't know much about them. Oh, Kennesaw State football. They just started up their football team. Okay, and then got offered. There was a guy named Coach Bowen. He's actually the defensive coordinator for the Titans. He was recruiting me at the time, and that's when I got to get to know more about Kennesaw State through that time. And then I met Coach Bo when I came to Kennesaw State on a visit.
And once you met him, was it love at first sight? Did you think you were moving to Kennesaw?
Yeah, definitely knew I was coming to Kennesaw. I don't know if you guys met Coach Bo, but his wide eyes, he can look at you and you kind of know, like, all right, this is the kind of guy I want to play for. So
he's got that intensity.
Literally, you knew that. All right, they're coming here to win. They're new, but at the same time, like, there's business here. Right. Like, so.
What other schools were you recruited by?
So I had a Georgia State offer, South Alabama, a couple Sun Belts, and then just a few FCS schools around Mercer, Citadel, Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
That's quite a list of people who wanted you.
Yeah.
Was it Coach Bo who put it over the top?
Honestly, it was the whole coaching staff at that time.
Coach Bo,
and then like all the entire coaching staff, because Coach Bo, like, you could just tell, like, honestly, like when you talk to him, winning was his first, like, that's what he wanted. Like, he came in, it was like, all right, we're gonna come in and we're gonna win a championship. Coming from a school like Grayson, like, you're winning all the time, you want to come to another place where that's gonna continue. And the fact that was his mindset, championship, eat, effort, attitude, and toughness, that kind of just sounded like, all right, at that time when I was a senior in high school, that sounded like where I was coming from. So it was like, oh, this is going to be an easy place to just come in and just, it's gonna, not easy in a way if you're just it's going to be a difficult, like, obviously you're going to learn more, but it was going to be easy to come in and just actually compete just because of the fact that, like, they're coming to win. Like, their whole mindset is winning, so everything is a winning mindset.
Right, but you do bring up a valid point. my daughter went to a high school not too far from here, and her entire high school career, they won 7 games.
Yeah.
Then she went to UGA, and of course they won 12 or 13 the very first year. So
Yeah.
it's kind of hard when you're in that winning, you're not ready to go to South Alabama if you think that's a 2-9 team.
Yeah, you want to go to a place where you have the opportunity to win. And in our time there, we ended up winning 2 conference championships, and they're still winning now to this day.
That's cool. One of my favorite questions to ask, Solo, excuse me, is what is your favorite stadium you went and played at other than Fifth Third Bank?
We went to Utah, but favorite stadium?
That was
Truist Park.
That was Weber.
Weber State.
It was Weber. It was Weber
game.
State, but Jacksonville State, of course. Like, it was not a football stadium, but definitely one of the greatest experiences I've ever been a part of.
I've been to so many things at that park, and it just kills me that game is not in my memory.
Yeah, 5 overtimes. Like, I don't literally Bryson Armstrong ends up sealing the game with an interception, takes the knee. Yeah, great experience.
That's cool. That was
Great.
the first football game played in that stadium,
Yes,
too,
sir.
wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
Only football game. I don't think they've played another one in there.
I don't believe so either.
That's cool. That's cool. So what are you doing now that you're not playing football at KSU?
So, still wanted to work in sports, right? Still wanted to work in sports, so ended up working with the Falcons as like a more part-time internship type of thing in their sales department. Just want to be in business, right? And got promoted to the Atlanta United side about 2 months ago. So really just still working in sports, trying to, just build that repertoire and that resume with in sports.
Now, I noticed that green Atlanta United that you
Yep.
have on. Did you ask for green just because it goes with that Grayson?
Of course. Always got to stay close. Yeah, Drake used to say, never home but always repping, so I'm always repping in a little bit,
There you go. So I had a question and I went blank. Go ahead, Robert.
Go-to breakfast.
Go-to breakfast.
You wake up. It's one of those. I don't care what you did the night before. It could be
Restaurant, or are we talking?
just you, wherever it is.
I'm going to Waffle House and I'm getting an All-Star meal.
All-Star.
All-Star
Yeah,
meal. at the
can't go
Waffle
wrong.
House.
Can't
Cheese,
go wrong.
cheese on the grits. Cheese on the grits.
Cheese on the grits. But you're not pouring milk on the grits, right?
No milk, no
I had
milk.
somebody try to give me their grits one time. I didn't realize there was milk on them. I'm like, what is that? I didn't know that was a country thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So
Where's that?
other than football, what is your favorite KSU moment, maybe involving other sports?
So it wouldn't even be other sports. So back in 2020, when the whole George Floyd he was murdered. We actually, all the athletes actually got together, put up a video kind of showing even the coaches, Coach Bo, the Coach Amir, the women's basketball coach, and a couple other coaches actually
that
got
Agnes
together.
Marinado at the
Agnes,
time?
yeah, she was there too.
Fabulous
and
lady, yeah.
they literally everyone got together and created a video just to show that we stand against it. And that was honestly one of my favorite experiences, period, at Kennesaw State, because it just showed whatever your color you are, you stand against a situation like that. Because someone that looks like me, you walk around, whether you're coming to Cobb County, Gwinnett, Metro, wherever you are in this world, there's a chance that could be you. So the fact that you have someone like Coach Bo, that's my head coach. For him, when I brought that to him, he was like, of course. You know what? We gave him a script, and he was like, I have something to say. So that was something that was actually really encouraging, especially if you're someone. I was 21 at that time, a young guy like me, seeing my head coach doing something like that definitely meant a lot to me.
Impressionable.
Yes, exactly.
It's got to be awesome when you think you need to stand up and you find out you're not the only one standing.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
That is really cool. Did you play any other sports growing up, or was football it?
Ran track. So ran track at Grayson. During that time, we actually had probably 5, 6, 7, 8. From my sophomore year all the way up into my senior year, we had 2 4x1 teams going to state every single year. We didn't win my senior year. They won the 4x4. But yeah, ran track. Ran in the 100, 200, and 4x1 and 4x4 events.
What was your best time in the 100?
Best time was a 10-9.
10-9.
Yes,
Pretty
sir.
fast.
Yes, yeah, for high school.
Yeah, for high school.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't care what age you are. If you're under 11 in the 100, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's moving on. Yeah. So if you were a recruiter for Kennesaw State now, and you went out to talk to a 5-star athlete why would you tell them they need to come to KSU?
The kid goes to Brookwood, by the way.
Oh, if he goes to Brookwood.
But he's going to make your alma mater better.
So Coach Chestnut went to Brookwood, so we already clashed the first day. Like the first day I met Coach Chestnut, he told me he went to Brookwood back in the '90s. We kind of had that. We just talked about that a little bit. But honestly, if he went to Brookwood, I would tell him that one, you should have came to Grayson, or there's a reason why you're at Brookwood because you couldn't play at Grayson. So, but honestly, I would tell him that like. One, you're 30 minutes away from the city, right? If you want to win a championship, come to Kennesaw State because you have the coaches around you and the players around you that's going to help you do that. Then on top of that, getting your degree. Like, this is a good place to get your degree. They have connections. You're right outside the city. So if you're looking for networks or anything like that, that's here. So whether it's winning a championship, getting a job, or just making a network with friends, like Kennesaw State's here. Like, I still talk to my college teammates or just regular people that went to school here to this day.
That's awesome.
Regular people other than athletes?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
People like you carry his books, Chuck.
They carry
No,
his
not at
books?
all.
I
Not
could
at
do
all.
that.
Not at all.
Yeah, I could do that. That's funny. So I was watching Game Day this weekend, and they asked a question. I said, "Oh, we need to ask that on this." Did you see it?
I did
You know
not.
what question I'm talking
I was
about?
in an airport.
Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
Famous person in my cell phone.
Like that question, though.
Probably Coach Bo.
Coach Bo? There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
What do you think about Coach Bo going to Georgia Tech?
So crazy. Did he go to Georgia? Oh, is he going to
No,
Georgia Tech?
no,
I was about to say,
No, just he's been mentioned as a possible.
I don't like to get into stuff like that. If it does come out.
You are a brilliant man,
yeah.
Sola. Because this guy, he is walking you down the path that you're just not supposed to
I'm
be
not
on.
walking him down the path. I'm just asking him. Do you think he could coach at the 1A level?
I think he can coach anywhere, honestly. But he needs to stay in Kennesaw State and win some more championships. So
Yeah, it's funny. I sat next to his wife one night at a football game,
Yeah.
and she went to Georgia Southern where I went, and I think that's where they met.
Yeah.
When he was coaching down there. So it'd be hard to see Coach Bo go anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope he's one of those guys that stays like John Robinson did at Grambling and just hangs on for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be good. Yeah, hopefully he does stay at Kennesaw State.
Do you talk to him much?
So I'll talk to him before the season. I'll send a text message like before the season to every single one of the coaches just to reach out, just to keep that network and always like showing that I'm always supporting Kennesaw State. Crazy enough, talking about all the coaches. Coach Rappel's birthday, the defensive coordinator's birthday is today, so I reached out to him today too. So happy birthday to Coach Rappel.
He needs to be at the show listening to you.
So, any desire to coach?
Coach, more train.
Train?
Get kids probably from the ages like 11 to 13, right before they get into high school, and kind of show them like
Prepare them.
exactly. So like once they get those 4 years matter in high school. So 11, 12, 13, if they can learn the basis of tackling. If you're a DB, I was a DB myself, learning how to catch the ball, how to tackle, how to read a play, stuff like that. Like giving them that knowledge so once they get into high school, it'll just translate once they get in high school and college.
So you're not going to be in charge of the Grayson Middle School program. We don't have that to worry about for years.
Grayson already has enough. I'd like to go to a place that kind of would more need my help,
Yeah. Now, with all that speed, that 10.9 speed you had running 100, ever had any aspirations of being on the other side of the ball?
Couldn't catch. Couldn't catch. Hey, you ask my friends from high school, they'll tell you I couldn't catch anything. Like I used to drop a lot of interceptions back when I was in high school. Had to be on the jug machines a lot. So yeah.
How many interceptions did you have?
I don't remember the number. I know my junior year I led the team in interceptions, and my senior year I was second in interceptions.
In high school? Or?
In high school, yeah. Yeah.
Well, it seemed like you'd catch all right if you led the team in interceptions.
My junior year, but again, a lot of us dropped interceptions. We're DBs for a reason.
He's so incredibly fast. He had multiple opportunities.
But they could hand you the ball and you could run.
So we had a guy named Cameron Brent. He was the number one rusher, I want to say, those 2 years in the state of Georgia. One of the top runners in the state of Georgia. Things just didn't go his way when he went to go into college. But yeah, you know how Grayson is. There was a lot of talent there. So just like it is in Kennesaw State.
So the team. Go ahead, Robert.
No.
So the guys that you mentioned earlier that went to the Citadel in Nebraska, do you still stay in touch with those guys?
Yes. So the one that went to the Citadel, I'm going to be a part of his wedding. I'm one of his groomsmen in December. He's getting married. So
And the guy that went to Nebraska, is he still there? Or?
he's He lives. Yeah, he still lives up there right
But
there.
he's out of school. He's not.
Yes,
playing
of course,
ball.
of course.
Thank
He was
goodness
older
for
than
him.
me.
Thank goodness for him. He doesn't need to be in that train wreck.
Yeah.
But he still lives there. So does he have a red room now?
What do you mean a red room?
So
The Cornhuskers are red.
Cornhuskers, these people, they don't have anything else to cheer for. They take a little room in their house, they paint it red, and then they just hang stuff.
Yeah, I can see him. Muhammad, I can see him definitely doing something like that. He was a really good football player, and on top of that, he has a kid now. He has a family up there, so he's doing his thing up there.
He's blending in. He's got a red room.
Definitely,
He's got a red room if he got kids. And they'll be going to the Cornhusker football games, I guess, if they eventually ever get a coach and a football team back. So, yeah. You got anything else for Solo?
I'm good.
Solo, we appreciate you being with us, man.
Thank you very much.
We'd love to have you back sometime.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming up from Grayson.
sir.
Thank you very much.
And we'll love to get some of your other friends that are in the area on the show if
Yes,
you want to pass them along to us.
Yes, sir. I got you.
All right, great, Solo.
Have a
Thanks,
great
man.
one.
Solo.
You too. Well, how much fun was that?
Some people you have to kind of steer them. He was not somebody you had to steer.
Sola had it.
He was rolling in his direction, and
I'm going to let
part of
Sola
it.
have my seat if he wants it.
Yeah,
he did a
that's
fine
pretty
job.
much- I'm not going to say he could probably do as well, and I'm guessing he could probably pick better.
Pick better? Make picks? Yeah, you could probably do that. Yeah, that's cool. Well, we were about to bring our fan for the week on, and he went to the other side of the ball. Oh, he's got to go. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we're good. We can talk for a minute. So Rich Byro is our fan of the week, and Rich is doing what guys need to do occasionally to do that. So,
I've got an ad I could read if you like.
yeah, why don't we go ahead and do this ad for Bearcat Express?
You good, Larry? Do you need a delivery as in right now? Go now, please. Bearcat Express has expedited shipping on hand-carried items, car, van, or pickup. Whether it's from Memphis to Charlotte, Atlanta to Athens, or Augusta to Dothan, and all points in between. We've got the drivers to get your stuff where it needs to be. Whether your passport is still on the dresser, your 7-iron isn't in your bag, or you have a dog that hates to fly. Bearcat Express, with their live tracking capabilities, is the team to turn to. We are the go-to courier in the Southeast. Check us out at BearcatExpress.com.
BearcatExpress.com. Thank you, Blair Cook and David McDonough of Modern Image for being sponsors for not only the Owls Who Live Sports, but also the Three Guys Who Love Sports, which we do at 5 to 6 here at Miller's House. Before we do the Owl Show 7-8, welcome in our good friend and our fan of the week, Rich Byro. Rich, welcome, man.
Thank you, Chuck. Nice to be here.
Yeah, how about a little clap for Rich out there? Okay, nice. Okay. There you go. Garrett's into it now. There you go. Our KSU fans.
My fan club.
Your fan club is here. Hey, man, thanks for coming in and sitting with us tonight.
Great, thank you.
So tell us about the history of Rich Byro and how you wound up being a KSU fan.
Well, funny story. Keep it short, but
Don't worry about keeping it short. We got a half hour.
I moved down here in '97,
From where?
Connecticut, and up there, professional football's big, not so much college. And so I came down here, and people would ask me, "Who do you like, the Dogs or the Yellow Jackets?" I said, "Well, I hate bees and I love dogs, so I guess I'm a dog fan."
No bueno.
On the cover, it makes total sense.
Yeah. So, but then KSU got started up with their football program. And I said, hey, I want to get on the ground floor, because Georgia and Georgia Tech started off small, and grew.
Everybody had to start out year one.
Exactly. So I said, I want to be there. And then if they get big, like I say, I was there from the beginning.
That's a very valid point. I like it. And it's funny, you say the other schools started small, but we've been around 7 years now from football, and our population at the school has increased from, I can't imagine, 20,000 maybe. Then they bought Southern Polytech, and now we're 43,000, the second biggest school in the state.
Just growing, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, in the first 7 years of the football program, there's probably never been a school double its size or have the success that this program's had.
Yeah.
Right from the get-go. And I guess that's attributed to Coach Bo and the staff that he hired and the great athletes that we just had Solo on here. We've had some good people come through these chairs that told us some great things about the KSU football program as in terms of being a part of it.
Well, I think they did a great job researching it and, getting it started and figure out will football work here. And I think they did all their homework and got it done right, and it's just growing.
And I think Vince Dooley was actually an advisor
He was.
Yes.
He was.
for KSU. Yeah. Okay.
At the end of the day, and I'm not throwing in other coaches under the bus, but the old expression is if you're ever the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. And I think it's real easy if you were Coach Bo and you're setting all this stuff up to think, hey, I don't want my defensive coordinator to have too much power or anything else. That obviously was not his thought process. And he said, let me get all of the best people I can possibly get. It's worked.
Yeah.
And, I watched him when I went to the Wofford game a couple of weeks ago, and when they were having like huddles on the field during timeout stuff, Coach Bo wasn't even in the huddle. He was roaming the sidelines, working the officials, and the other coaches were doing their jobs. And if it was the offense on the field, the offensive coordinator was out there. The defense was out there. The defensive coordinator was. And Coach Bo knows his place, knows his role, and he was just letting these other guys control what they had control over.
Yeah.
Which I think is a lot of building a team.
He wasn't Arthur blanking the team?
It was not Arthur blanking the team. Yeah.
I actually met him one time. I think either was a guest or he spoke at a KBA event.
Arthur Blank did?
No, Bohannon.
Oh, Brian Bohannon. Yeah.
And met him afterwards and talked with him for a little bit, and just a real nice guy. And he wanted to thank me as being a fan because we're supporting that program and stuff. And here I'm thanking him because he's got a good program and he's a good coach. So it was kind of nice to see he was just down to earth and kind of thankful.
And that's that's what we were talking about earlier. If you give $500 to the KSU program, your family.
Yeah.
If you give it to Tech or Georgia, big deal. Thank you. And if you even get that,
misspelled.
Postcards, your name's going to be misspelled. Yeah. But yeah, it's a part of being something, as Rich stated, about from the ground up, and being a part of this. Like in 20 years, when everybody knows who KSU is, and everybody's now saying, "Wow, this is a pretty cool program to be a part of."
Yeah.
Because all schools start out that way, but we're in a unique situation here, as Robert mentioned, with the success of the football team over 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was exciting when I first got into the program, being a fan, and they had you come out when I said I want to do tickets, and then they brought you to the stadium and had you sit around and decide where you wanted your seats.
Yeah.
And that was the coolest
I don't
thing.
Like this angle.
Yeah.
And
That's what it was. It was.
You're about on the 50 at 105.
Yeah.
In section 105.
We're like the 50s here. I got 2 seats on this side and 2 seats on this side.
So you're right at the 50.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
48, 49.
And Chuck was trying to steal my seats last weekend.
Yeah, I was. If I'd have known that, I would have sat in them. If I'd have known it before then. So you're going tomorrow night or Saturday night?
Yes.
So you're going to come by we're going to be broadcasting from there live, tailgating on
Yeah, I have
Saturday.
to stop by. Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah.
Tailgating's another fun part of that.
Yeah.
You would pull in, they give you trash bags, and you go park, and you get to see the band walk by, the cheerleaders walk by, then the football team, and it's just a fun experience.
Yeah, and I know I've got a lot of friends from up north, and they say the same thing you do. It's just college football is zero in the Northeast, unless there's Syracuse right now. Syracuse got a good ball club, but it's mostly good old South.
Yeah.
And Southern boys playing football. Yeah.
But it's that small feel in nature of knowing that people always want to be there when the major Michigan comes walking through or something, but there's 4 bazillion people who go to do it, and you can't get anywhere close. This is something that's tangible. You can buy tickets for the game in 3 days, and you can be right there and watching all of these things happen. So it is different than all these other places we're talking about.
Yeah.
Now, do you only go to the home games? Have you been to any away games?
No, we haven't.
Okay.
Just all the home games, and so we've talked about going away, and we met a nice couple friends through the season tickets, and they've actually traveled, and they said it was a fun experience.
Well, I know in 2 years, 3 years, they're going to be playing at Georgia Southern, my alma mater, and I want you to go with me. To get
Yeah,
in there
we
for
would
that
go.
game. That would be fun.
We did go. Well, it was part of the home package, but when they played the Panthers at the old baseball,
You're right. Turner Field.
yeah, Turner Field, and
Oh, I forgot about that game.
yeah. So I mean, that was technically a home game, but we did travel.
Yeah. Yeah, travel to Atlanta. That's a risk at any day, at any time. So
What was the first? Was football the first athletic event that you went to from KSU, or did you go to anything else?
Actually, it was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been to any of the other sports since you started following football?
No, as a ticket holder, they gave us some like a package to go see basketball. I'm not a big basketball fan, and then the friends with the seats next to us invited us. He's like, "Oh, you got to go. It's fun, but it's like a Tuesday night or something." I try not to go out too many times during the week, So
You were at KBA with Chuck on Tuesday, so that wasn't going to work.
last night he was.
yeah.
Yeah. So
No, but there was somebody at the Ackworth Business Association, and it was a panel, and they were talking about the sports, I think.
when
And-
Tommy Allagood was the head of it.
I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about the sports in KSU. They might have been, I think, the baseball coach. It was
Brian
baseball
Coe.
teams.
Yeah.
And they were saying how good KSU was. And, so I spoke afterwards. They said they didn't question. I said, I just want to make a comment that football has been great. And I've been invited to basketball. I haven't gone, but I should because I heard it's fun. And then with the baseball coach talking up the team and all that, I said, well, that sounds interesting. I need to go see one of those games. So,
Well, one of the things about Cobb County is it's such a hotbed for high school baseball. Even after all of the Super D1 picks get taken, there's a lot of talent
still left.
still here. And obviously, the same thing's happening for the football team.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, we always ask people, Rich, that are on the show, what's your go-to breakfast? What's your number one breakfast?
Does everybody answer, or do they say no comment?
Well,
Everybody
I'm
answered.
going to write
To
down,
this point in time,
I'm writing
everybody
down,
has
I'm
answered.
writing down his right now. Okay, I have what I think you're going to say.
I don't know if I really have a favorite, but if I'm going to make breakfast for the family or whatever, we'll do bacon and eggs. Just simple,
Pretty
some
simplistic.
toast. Yeah.
How about if you're going out, where do you want to go for breakfast?
Usually we go because my stepson likes to go to Carol's down corner of Barrett and Bells Ferry.
I have never heard of Carol's.
I've never been there.
It's
I'll probably
like
be there tomorrow.
It's probably like a hole-in-the-wall kind of diner, but the staff is friendly. The food is good.
Sometimes those are the best.
breakfast,
yeah.
breakfast.
Just everything. I mean, they have a board up there that's written, the whiteboards, and just every
Every day it's something new.
The oddest thing is on there, because I had it when I was a kid, they have like liver and onions. I'm like, do people still eat that?
In Georgia. Hey, Chuck, I got a question for you next week. Make sure you ask me how Carol's was, because I will be there.
Okay, I'm going to make a note here. Robert's going to Carol's. Y'all talk while I write this down.
How do you feel about this weekend's game?
I don't know. We've been spoiled with such good teams, but I guess with moving into the division,
To
they're
the A-Sun?
Yeah, they're playing tougher teams. So I didn't see the away games. I kind of followed it on my phone because I get these hits on my phone. But the way they played last week. I mean, they blew it in the second half, but they still came close to pulling it out. So,
Same thing with the Sanford loss.
Yeah.
Start the year.
Yeah, they should be 3-1 right now.
Could be real easy.
I think they've got a good chance to, win, get on a good streak.
Like the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my picks last week was Austin Peay over Central Arkansas, because Austin Peay been lighting it up. Central Arkansas blew them out, so that was a shock. But got a lot of good conference games coming up. I know we start with North Alabama, the Lions, this weekend, right?
Well, we usually, because they've been so strong and blowing out games, and so the group of us, we go to the games. I try to stay and watch the whole thing. But then halftime, sometime third quarter or fourth quarter, like, okay, time to go back and tailgate.
No, and you bring up a very valid point. My dad, being a Cartersville football fan, most of these games are 48-0 at halftime.
Yeah.
So not only does the team need to figure out how to handle the third and fourth quarter in a close game, but the fans don't always know how to react either, because I haven't sat here for 3 hours the entire year.
So it's
Exactly.
nice to play in front of a full stadium the whole game instead of just the first half.
Well, and you might be up 14-0 or whatever else, but there might be a chant of defense that needs to happen late in the game.
We have seen that happen, right? So so that's pretty cool. Well, you said you're in the black lot. No, you're in the gold lot.
Gold lot.
But you're going to come down and join us
Yeah,
on
we'll come
Saturday.
down,
to
yeah,
the black
yeah.
lot and hang out. Well, we appreciate you sitting in with us today, Rich.
Well,
and
thanks. It's
telling
actually-
us the KSU story.
I thought I
Rich was
was gonna-
all nervous about being on there.
thought so.
I said, it's not going to be that big a deal.
Yeah, it was fun. This is my first podcast, and I was glad I was able to join you guys and just talk football.
Absolutely.
Come
We're
again.
glad you could join
I will,
us, and
yeah,
we look
invite
forward to
me.
meeting
Thank
you
you,
and
Rich.
seeing
Thanks,
you.
Appreciate you
appreciate
coming
it.
in.
Nice to see you.
And Larry, if one of you could go get Mr. Renfro, we want to get him in here and get his take on the Jacksonville State game, and him go over the picks with us for the week. 'Cause we've got only 2 ASUN games this week, but they're pretty important.
One of them is for sure.
Yes, there is. Yeah, we'll be doing the. Who are we playing? The Lions, the North Alabama Lions. Yeah. So
How long did you write the monologue up, or Chuck's Chumps?
Chuck's Chumps. There's only 2, so I had to take a little extra time.
If there's only 2, it could finish quicker instead of just being like 9 minutes.
Why do you
on
think
each.
I'm bringing on Will? So I've got a couple of pretty good. Both teams have Lions in them. Both games have Lions in them.
Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Will the Thrill Renfro,
Will is here.
back from Pensacola and back from Jacksonville State. There's the man, the myth, the legend, Will Renfro.
I got more sun at the Jacksonville State game than I did a week at the beach.
Was it cloudy the whole time?
No, I just didn't.
Did go out in the sun.
I don't like sitting at the beach.
Yeah, I'm a pool guy myself. I go to the beach. But
That's what I do. Under the umbrella,
Yeah.
let them bring me some drinks.
There you go. Well, tell us about what happened at Jacksonville State.
Well, like the Cincinnati game, we had a great first half.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the rest.
You talking about the second half. Yeah, I was texting back and forth with Carrick while he was at the game.
Yeah.
And I said, looks good so far.
They played a great first half. Now, Jacksonville State's a good team, but
They got a very speedy backfield.
yes. And I don't know what they did at halftime or what we didn't do or what we did. And we just gave up a lot of yards in the passing game in the second half,
And we've done
especially
that.
the third quarter.
And we've done that a lot this year, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what beat us at Sanford and tried to at Wofford, but we hung tough at the end.
Right.
But getting better every game.
Right.
Yeah.
And I learned one thing. I'm not going to call out any player anymore. Because what did I said after the Cincinnati game? I said, our punter's doing great. And he gets one blocked, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk about anybody else. I'm not going to say anybody's doing good anymore.
That was the start of a bad third quarter, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But we had fun. How many people did we have tailgating in the Owl?
We had the Alumni Association had a tent, and Chenal, who you met
Tom,
last week,
yeah.
he took his trailer over there and had the TV set up, and we had a DJ going with some music, and we had Saul's Barbecue, which apparently is a good place over there out of Birmingham.
Yeah, Tom told us about that last week. Not
Yeah.
Robert. He wasn't
So
here.
I don't remember how many were there, but we had quite a few in the band. They brought part of the band.
Yeah.
So it was a good showing.
Does the band usually not travel with the team?
The band usually does not travel.
But because it was so close.
Is that a pre-COVID thing, or just because of COVID and stuff?
I think it's a monetary thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough money to fund the band and the cheerleaders, and because the cheerleaders don't travel to every game. They went to Cincinnati and they went to Jacksonville State, but they're not at every away
They
game.
didn't go to Sanford.
I don't recall seeing them at Sanford.
He would.
Yes, he. Charlie didn't hear that though. And our best wishes to Charlie. Charlie's home suffering from
She had some oral surgery.
some oral surgery this week, and I hope she's feeling better.
Our first ever female fan of the week.
Our first ever female fan of the week. What a great week that was when we had Erin Harris from the soccer game and Charlie. They were great. It was a great week. Larry will confirm this. I told him that was my favorite show we've done all year. It was awesome. Charlie was awesome. Other than the fact that, what did she tell us next time she was going to bring us, Robert, when she came?
She's cooking. That woman is.
Cookies. She owes us cookies.
I think that's why she's avoiding you now.
It's the story of my life. Women avoiding me. That's okay.
500 cookies for the team going time. So
Yeah.
So
puts in her effort.
Charlie's the baker. That's it. So
and the marriage.
I would say this for the team. Charlie, they want some cookies.
I didn't say that though,
Somebody here needs
but
you
chocolate
to plan
chip.
their wedding.
chocolate chip or sugar cookie,
Chocolate
something
chip
like that.
always chocolate chip.
So we know we've had you on here before, but again, leading up to this week, give us the tailgate experience and what we can expect when we come out there and broadcast live on Saturday.
So I think you're being set up over in Chenal's area, which is at one corner where the entrance to the black lot is,
Okay.
and we're on the opposite corner where you would walk up to the gold lot to go into the stadium. And in between there is a bunch of new tailgates. So at the Wofford game, we had a bunch of people show up that were first-time tailgaters, which is really good because the atmosphere is starting to pick up. And we actually, at the last game, we had a guy playing guitar and singing, so we had our own little music going, live music going at the tailgate. This weekend, I'm not sure what Chenal is cooking, but I'm bringing pulled pork.
Pulled pork.
I'm going to cook that in advance, and because I don't have enough time to cook it at the tailgate, but I'll have that in my Cambro, and so we'll have plenty for everybody.
And what time do you typically show up? So 'cause I don't know. At one point in time, I thought Carrick said you could only tailgate an hour before the show.
No, there's 5 hours before the, but
So how many people actually get there at 1 if it's a 6 o'clock kickoff?
there's we will be there. There'll be several people, but I will tell you this: we've learned that if you show up before that, there's nobody there to stop you.
So if you get there early, you don't have to pay to park. Is that what you're telling me?
No, it's not the paying part.
Oh.
It's that they don't run you off.
Oh, beautiful.
So we just sit out there and socialize our extra hours.
Well, I could do that. I could socialize.
But yeah, so there'll be plenty of food, and plenty of drinks. If you want to stop by our tailgate, we have a guy at our tailgate that does Jello shots.
Yeah.
He's a professor at the college. He teaches math.
Yeah.
So
What's he teaching?
he might ask you some calculus
Biology
questions.
or chemistry?
You plus 3 Jello shots equals
Flat on your back.
Well, at the last tailgate, we had a guy show up with moonshine.
Oh, my gosh.
The legal moonshine, you know.
Yeah.
He's a sheriff's deputy, so it had to be legal. But they were passing that around, and at one point somebody's like, "All right, y'all need to start eating." Quit drinking, start eating.
Will just touched on it, and our guest earlier, Rich, talked about it. Rich met these people next to him, and all of a sudden became good friends with them. This guy's bringing barbecue. He's going to feed you. If you show up at the game and you find one of these faces and be like, hey, I was watching this podcast, these guys are going to take you in, they're going to feed you, you're going to go watch the Owls kick some butt, and have a good day.
Absolutely.
That's the fun about this. That's what you're not seeing at other places.
And tailgating is a new experience, and like Rich said, nobody tailgates up north. I mean, this is where it's done, and it's done right.
Yes.
Yeah.
The only time people hang out in the parking lot in Detroit for 5 straight hours is if they're stealing the car, the wheels off the car, catalytic converter, or something else.
Like one of my favorite Rodney Dangerfield jokes ever. He said, yeah, my neighborhood was very safe. He said, guy rotated his tires the other day from my car to his.
No respect, I tell you.
No respect. Rodney's awesome. So, we've kind of made this a tradition now that we make our picks for this weekend, and that's why we wanted to get Will over here. Number one, to get a take on the fun in Jacksonville State, but also to get our picks for the week. Only 2 games in the A-Sun as we take our trip around A-Sun this week. There are only 2 games. The first one is The Lindenwood Lions. Lindenwood. Have you ever heard of Lindenwood?
No.
Nor have I.
Is that the neighborhood where OJ killed those people?
No, but something like that. He didn't kill those people. Just ask the judge. Yeah.
Hey, I'm a Bills fan. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah. So Robert, the Lindenwood Lions at the Central Arkansas Bears. What do you think?
Lions and Bears.
Oh, my.
Thank you. I knew you guys were right there for me.
I tried to work that in my Chuck's jump, but I couldn't because I needed a tiger.
So I will. I just got back from Yosemite, or not Yosemite, Yellowstone. I'm sorry.
Did you see
And
Yogi?
I didn't see any lions, but I did see some bears. I'm going to go with the Bears.
All right.
Bears are tough.
The Central Arkansas Bears. Will, how about you?
You know, I think Central Arkansas is going to win only because they know they're going to lose next week.
We've got them here next week, right?
Next week, yes.
On the 15th. Beautiful. Well, I'll just read you Chuck's chump for this game. Lindenwood Lions versus the Central Arkansas Bears. The Lions of the OVC travel to the Bears Cave in Conway, Arkansas. Coming off a big win over Austin Peay, the Bears are feeling their porridge. The Lions are coming off 2 straight losses. Not even if they bring Goldilocks to try and frighten the Bears. Not going to happen. Chuck's chump, Lindenwood Lions. And
3 agreements.
yeah, so they were very tough last week against Austin Peay. I thought Austin Peay had turned the corner and they'd only lost 1 game.
I told you
Won
Austin
3
Peay
straight.
wasn't going to win again.
I think they'll win again, but they didn't pee this week. They had a tough time. And of course, the other big game and the big one of the week is the other Lions, the North Alabama Lions, coming to Fifth Third Stadium Bank at 6 o'clock on Saturday night. Silly question, Will, but who you got?
Well, I will tell you this little bit of stat. This is an interesting stat. The only team we've ever beat where we never attempted a pass was North Alabama.
Oh, really?
3 years ago when we first played them, we didn't even attempt a pass. We've had games where we didn't complete a pass, but that was the first one where we never even tried. And we just ran all over them. I mean, we had 450, 500 yards rushing. And
Why throw it if you don't
yeah,
need
if
to?
they're not going to make you throw it,
If
don't
it ain't
throw
broke,
it.
don't fix it.
Right.
Or if it ain't fixed, don't break it.
Yeah, that's it.
One of those, yeah.
But now they've changed. I think they've changed offensive coordinators since last year, so they're going to come with a little different scheme. But I still think that they're having a tough transition going from D2 to D1, and I still think we're going to win. And I know we're going to win the first half.
We're so good at first half that it's not even funny. We need to work on our second half game approach. So we will get that taken care of this weekend. Robert, what say ye?
I say Owl's big. This is one of those things. The players and coaches always tell you, we don't read anything, we don't listen to anything, but they all read and they all listen to it. And at the end of the day, this is going to be a 4-quarter game. They're going to prove to you that they have the moxie to do what they do in the first half the whole time. So, Owl's big.
Owl's big. I like that call. Chuck's chump for the week. North Alabama Lions versus the KSU Owls. Battle of the 1 and 3s at Fifth Third Bank Stadium. After the cockfight in Jacks, the Owls are steamed and ready to take it out on the next team. That being the Cowardly Lions. Not even courage from the Wizard of Oz can help them. I choose to follow the yellow and black.
Folks,
Chuck's-
just for the record, he doesn't
Chuck's
drink.
chump.
So I know you're thinking
North
at home,
Alabama Lions.
last night, there was a couple bottles or something. No, this is just
I think now you just write those to see if I'll laugh.
I do. No, first I see if I laugh. I said, I bet Will will laugh at this too if I laugh.
Will laughs every time because I pay him $5 per chunk.
Per chunk. That's a pretty good thing, especially on a 6-week game. So, yeah,
I need you to be confident, sir.
that was good. That one was good. Follow the yellow and black. You like that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
He's got on his yellow and black too, and I do too.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So yeah, that's one of the fun parts of my week is laying there trying to figure these out. So a lot of other good things coming up in KSU land sports-wise this week. Obviously, the big game here on Saturday against North Alabama Lions. But we have women's soccer playing at North Alabama tomorrow night
Okay.
on Thursday the 6th. We have women's tennis at Southern Invitational, at Georgia Southern, the Invitational. the 7th through the 9th of October. And the women's volleyball team is at Jack State, and hopefully going to take a little revenge on what happened to us on Saturday, and that is the 7th, which is Friday night, right? And then the men's golf team is at the Carolina Cup in Spartanburg, South Carolina, October 9th, 10th, and 11th. So a lot of good things coming up KSU-wise this week at all sports. What say you, Robert?
I say Coach Schunzel is going to beat up on Jack State. I don't think Jack State's going to beat us for the rest of the year. I don't care what sport it is.
No, I like that.
Yeah, we're going to take it to the Gamecocks. So, you got anything else for us, Will?
I don't think so. I'm just ready for this home stretch. I mean, we got 4 weeks in a row
4 straight games
where we got
right?
because we've had 4 games, we've only had 1 home game, and that's really rare.
Yeah,
and so I'm ready to get my tailgate on. Have some.
It's because you're ready not to travel, or you're just ready to have fun and do some tailgating.
Well, there's just more people tailgating at the home game. So
where are our remaining away games? You know,
we play UT Martin, which is in Martin, Tennessee.
where is Martin, Tennessee?
Exactly.
I've heard of it.
It's northwest Tennessee.
Northwest.
So I think it's
up
on the
north of Memphis.
North of Memphis, west of
Nashville.
I think it's near Paducah. It's south
near
of Paducah.
Kentucky, okay.
So it's up near that state line. So we've got that game, and then we've got the Eastern Kentucky, which
that's a good one.
if you want something fun to do, you can travel with us. We're going up Thursday, so that Friday we can do some distillery tours, and then go to the game on Saturday.
And see if you can remember it on Sunday, right?
Yeah, I've booked that. So
we were talking about, who were we talking about that with? Maker's Mark and all that stuff. That
would be our guest today, Bill.
Oh, Bill Sterrett. That's right. That wasn't on the show, though, right?
That wasn't on the show.
Yeah, Bill, we're talking about you over there. It wasn't good, but we were talking about
It's
you.
about bourbon, Bill.
It was about bourbon, so.
yeah, so
A barrel of Makers.
I know I'm going to the Bullet Distillery, and I think the Four Roses Distillery.
There you go.
Four
You can't
Roses.
go wrong with either of those.
Yeah.
And what city is that in Eastern Kentucky?
Well, the Eastern Kentucky's in Richmond,
Richmond, Kentucky.
which is
that's
just
right.
outside of Lexington,
Okay.
little southeast.
How close is it to Murray? Do you know?
I don't know where Murray is.
It's where Murray State is.
Oh, Murray State. I was like, that. I
But
don't even know Murray.
It's in Murray. It's in Murray, Kentucky. That's
Okay,
where
I don't know where
one
that
of my
is.
good friends went to Murray State. So, so that's what's happening in Owlland. As always, we appreciate people being with us tonight. Sola Abasoya, I guess he took off after he made his star appearance. Rich Byro, thank you for being the fan of the week. And always, Will, the Thrill Renfro, we welcome you sitting in with us for the picks.
Absolutely.
So, guys, until Saturday, we look forward to seeing you out there at the tailgate section. Until then, give me a big hootie hoo. Hootie hoo. Good night, everybody.
Have a good week.
Thanks, man.